morning. It's Thursday, June 18th, and today we have some blockbuster news. John Bolton. You remember John Bolton? He was a national security advisor to President Trump. He was fired by President Trump. During the impeachment hearings, he would not testify before Congress, but he was willing to testify before the Senate. But the Senate chose not to have him testify. Now, John Bolton has written a book. It's called The Room Where It Happened. I guess the room he's talking about is the Oval Office. Anyhow, President Trump is upset, as he usually is when people challenge him in some way, shape, or form. Anyhow, Trump says Bolton's upcoming tell-all book breaks the law. Now, I never liked Bolton's politics. He was a little bit too hawkish for me, but I always felt he was a stand-up guy, that he would do the right thing in the right situation. So I think he's probably telling the truth in this book. Now, Trump has gone on record in saying that everything he says is classified, which is a lot of nonsense because, he writes stuff on Twitter all the time that is clearly not classified. I think he probably sprouts the same stuff when he's talking at home. So everything he says is not classified. According to what I read, the book deal's worth about $2 million, and Bolton had drafted a 500-page manuscript, supposedly had a lot of classified information in it, which he proposed to release to the world. The Justice Department claimed that fact in a federal court in Washington. Now, Bolton's lawyer has said that Bolton has acted in good faith and that the Trump administration is abusing a standard review process to prevent Mr. Bolton from revealing information that is merely embarrassing to President Trump, but not a threat to national security. On Monday, Trump accused Bolton of violating policies related to classified information by moving ahead with the book. But the book is already printed and bound and shipped to a warehouse, which could make it more difficult for the administration to stop Bolton's book from becoming public. So back in January, when the impeachment process against Trump was going on, Bolton had submitted his manuscript to the administration for a review. I don't know how long that review process took. I don't even know what exactly happened, because in the article it doesn't mention what happened, but obviously it was cleared, and he's gone ahead and printed this whole thing, so he must have thought it was cleared. As far as I could find out in my reading, there's one damaging piece of information in this book, and that deals with the fact that Bolton claims that Trump directly tied military aid to the Ukraine to his desire to have Biden investigated in order to undermine a political rival, specifically the former Vice President Joseph R. Biden Jr. Mr. Bolton made clear in a statement released this week that the book contained other explosive details. So I'm sure that Mr. Trump is very upset about that. And I don't know what's going on, really, because if he had a review process, he must have passed, and the book is now printed and everything. But the government system for reviewing books and other materials was created to ensure that classified and other sensitive information wasn't released to the public and that information remained secret. So officials must agree to submit any work to the review process in order to obtain a security clearance. Now, I am assuming that Bolton did all those things, and nobody should be bitching about what's out. Now, there's other interesting things. This is what else I found out while reading this article. There was a suit last year that was brought by several former security officials, which said that the pre-publication review process for books and articles unjustifiably restricted their rights to free speech and due process. Well, if you're in a secure thing, if you're in a security business, that's to be expected, and that isn't free speech if there's national security. I agree with that. But in their suit, they also claimed that the review system, which is governed by several ambiguous policies, gives reviewing officials too much discretionary power over what is published. and allows them to quickly clear reviews for former officials who write positively about the government. So these people who sued are saying that if the government doesn't like what you wrote, even though it's not a security issue, they can put the kibosh on it. Now that sounds to me like it has a grain of truth in it, okay? Not every one of these guys who's in office is a stand-up person, and they have something to hide. But in any event, this book is going to hit the warehouse, and we know it's going to be a bestseller. So the $2 million that Bolton got in advance is probably bupkis in the big scheme of things, because I can tell you right now that a lot of people are going to want to read this book. It'll be interesting to see what happens in the next couple of days, whether this book really leaves the warehouses, because it is in the warehouse and it's ready to be shipped, and it'll be on bookshelves next week, June 23rd. So we should keep an eye out for that. Maybe we could even have a book club about it. You know, we read it, see if it really makes any sense to us. Who knows what else is in there? I mean, most of us know about the Ukraine situation, but we don't know anything else really. And this could be a blockbuster. This could be a real blockbuster. So let's hope it gets published and let's see what's happened. I'm disappointed that he never got to testify. That would have been exciting. Here's something else we ought to think about. Can you imagine what's going to happen on Fox News or CNN or MSNBC or CBS or NBC? Can you imagine what's going to happen when this thing hits and those people start reading it and they start reporting about it? It'll be on Face the Nation, State of the Union. It'll be all over the place. Fox and Friends. What do you think the Friends are going to say when they read this book? If they can read. It's going to be, it's going to take over the place. The release of this book will be the perfect ending for COVID-19. I'll see you tomorrow morning. Bye.